Hello and welcome to What the
Vroom!
Shakespeare, where today in the studio we are looking at Act 2, Scene 4 of Romeo and Juliet up until the nurse comes in.
All that banter between Romeo and Mercutio and all those double meanings. A lot of double meanings in there. We're going to be looking at those, and quite a lot of them about bottoms.
Rude.
We're in. It starts on a street, and it's Benvolio and Mercutio, oddly enough, enter together. And this is the morning after the balcony scene. Wonder where they've been.
Where have they been? But they're waiting for Romeo, who hasn't turned up. He hasn't
come home.
Come home. Dirty stop
out. So yeah, they're wondering where he is, because Mercutio says, "Where the heck is he?" And Benvolio says, "Well, I don't know. I've been at his dad's house and he's not there. His servant says he's not come home."
He didn't come home?
No, he didn't come home. Yeah. So he must have been in the truckle bed, the servant, wondering where his master is. So Mercutio says that pale, hard-hearted wench Rosalind. God,
she's still got a grip on Romeo, or so they believe.
Yeah, and hard-hearted being maybe that she's a bit playing hard to get, and that she's like
bit of a tease.
Yeah. and doesn't put out. She's also referred to as pale, and pale would have been the idea that you're really well, because in those days you would have had the pox and all that kind of stuff. So people who were all whited up, they whited each other them up so that they looked really healthy. Unfortunately, they used lead to white them up, and therefore, quite often, they died of lead poisoning. But that allowed them to look really healthy. So that's their reference to that, and what on earth that means. What the heck does that mean? So then, yes.
We learned that Tybalt has sent a letter to Romeo's house challenging him to a duel. And Mercutio says Romeo will answer it. Yeah. No, not Mercutio, sorry. Benvolio says
he will answer it, and he will answer the letter and say that he'll dare to being dead, yes. But he says, Romeo is already dead. Stabbed through the heart with a white wench's black eye, shot through the ear, which would have originally sounded like rear. So that's another reference to that kind of thing. Yeah.
And they talk about the blind boy's butt shaft, so that's referring to Cupid, who was often shown as blindfolded.
Yes. And there's a picture of a fox. Now, you might wonder what the heck that is, but we're talking about Tybalt, the king of cats, the prince of cats, right? And in those days, there was a set of stories which involved that fox. But if you look carefully, if you wind back a little bit, you might well see a little cat in there. And that cat was called Tybalt the cat.
It was.
Yes. But we're talking about here, this is all about the dueling here, this whole speech here, and he's talking about his Tybalt's ability at the duel. He's so good at it, he will be able to hit your silk button and kill you. He will butcher your silk button. He can go, I'll go on a third button down and I'll stab you through there. That's how good he is.
But then they go on to talk about themselves and even trying to get the audience on side to be watching the play, saying, well, why is he challenging us? What have we done to deserve this threat? We're men and women of a fashion, we're harmless.
Yes. And they're talking here about licentious men and extravagant men, and who have an affected way of speaking,
and a way of dressing and a way of behaving. That's not threatening. It's quite camp, I suppose.
And then he starts talking to the grandsire. You might wonder, who the heck is the grandsire? Well, the grandsire would have been one of the rich folk who was sitting on the stage,
on the posh seats,
really posh seats, right? So if you imagine you'd paid 40 quid for a ticket to the West End. Well, these are the folk who'd go on stage, and it would cost 240 quid to sit on the stage. So they'd be talking to them, going, look, what has this guy Tybalt got against us? Well, we cause no harm, us types that are a bit like this. And then we talk about people who
can't sit down properly.
All the people who can't sit on the old benches, and
they sit on the posh seats, the comfy seats, because they have trouble sitting
because they've been doing certain actions that they can't sit down. So constantly all the way through that bit talking about homosexual references and folk like that. So that's what the whole of that is about. There's a massive set of play on words, and then we got
Romeo turns up.
Yeah.
He turns up after all this.
And we're talking about the Petrarch lover and all that stuff. And then he says, Romeo, bonjour. There's a French salutation. Now, interestingly, French salutation or French welcome would have meant venereal disease. Now, the audience would have known exactly what that means. And Shakespeare is playing on loads of different stuff. Yeah.
But they're talking about how you gave us the fairly last night. You know, he gave them the slip.
Yes, you gave us a counterfeit.
You
Yeah, sure.
You sloped off.
But he said, I did not do that at all. And he said, well, you slip, you totally talking about something here. Again, another play on words. Maybe the slip, talking about the baby slipping out a bit early, maybe talking about abortions.
But Romeo goes, pardon me, good Mercutio, my business was great. He had such a thing he had to go and do, that he had to leave them.
He had to do the thing.
It was really important.
And he says, well, in case such as yours, constrains a man to bow in the hams. Now, you're wondering what the chuff and how does that mean? Well, that means bending over from the waist. For bending over, ready for certain things. So again, another reference to homosexuality.
And then we go into this Mercutio Romeo sort of banter, isn't it? Back and forth with wordplay and
pink and prick is maybe kind of linked.
Sexual references together.
Pink for a flower, prick for a flower. And why then is my pump well flowered?
And worn out.
Oh, you've worn out your pump by too much. All of that. There you go. So you've got all sorts of.
So Romeo's boasting about something that he's done. Almost boasting that he's done something with Juliet, even though we know he hasn't done anything yet. But he's playing that sort of
he's doing that whole
card.
that whole kind of thing that boys do. It's a bit like fishermen. It's like, I got a fish and it was that size. It's a bit like that, isn't it? So then Mercutio says, look, Benvolio, come between us. A bit like a pimp. Come between us and kind of just sort us out here. His wits fate. Wits could be a play on words on too. Yeah. So and then we're talking about switch and spurs. Switch and spurs are our cry and match. He's talking about. Mercutio's talking about. All right, let's see. I want to find out what this sleeping with women is
about.
like.
Yeah, he sort of says, "I'll go off and do that," and Romeo goes, "Well, go on then. You go and do that, and
that'll
see what
be
happens.
interesting.
That'll be funny."
So, if you're going to go and have a bit of a quick ride, that'll be quite interesting to find out how you find the riding of somebody of the opposite sex. So again, still with the homosexual references, yeah, and then. Again, Mercutio says, I will bite thee by the ear, but the original accent would have sounded exactly like rear. I will bite thee in the rear. I will bite thee, and the audience would have got that, totally got that joke.
And he says, nay, good goose, bite not.
Now,
geese
have no teeth. Therefore, that'd be quite pleasant for a, bit of a blowjob.
And then they talk about sauce and serving well with sweet goose.
It's all very saucy, isn't
Very
it? So the whole lot is all about rudeness and sexuality
talk,
and naughty banter talk. It's full of it all the way through. So there's all these references, and for those folk that are at school, this is quite a naughty play. Yeah, you might think, oh, it's Shakespeare. It's really quite tame. It's not.
Not at all.
Full of rudeness. Absolutely full of rudeness.
But then they welcome back Romeo. They say, come back, you are back from this love death that you've been in, this moping.
Why is not this better now than groaning for love? Is not having a laugh and talking about total nonsense and
much better.
And the world and stuff? Isn't that much more fun? Isn't this much better than to run around hiding your bauble in a hole? I mean, come on.
And then Benvolio's just trying to stop them before it gets too much.
Thou desirest me to stop in my tail against the hair. Tail against the hair, hairy bum. So thou wouldst else have made my tail large, tail being cock. It's kind of pointing out really obviously.
It's really
neon
obvious.
sign, tail means cock. Yeah, so you've got lots of the word tail. It's not the right spelling for tail. It's tail as in the story, but it's definitely talking about cocks. Again, Mercutio with the cock. He seems a bit obsessed.
And then the nurse turns up.
Yeah, goodly gear. That's
Goodly
some
gear.
goodly gear. Here comes the nurse. Boom.